No, that's not going to work too early for that. I think that's better. Today is the 29th. Sorry, it's 28th. Today is the 28th. It is Wednesday. I am speaking today at the... God damn it, I always do this. Or I just slip into I'm being interviewed. I don't know why I start talking like that. It's very weird. But anyway. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not looking in the camera. Because if I actually look in the camera, then it's very different. There's a different... If I look over here, I talk differently. I'm going to have to watch this back to see if there is a difference or if I'm just perceiving one right now. Okay, doesn't matter. Brain fog. It's early in the morning. It's I've been up since 3. It's 5 now. I've been creating my IMDB Pro page. I really thought the process was going to be a lot harder than it is. I literally just took 5 minutes. I can't believe it took that. I'm having this very surreal moment. And creating the IMDb page and just seeing that IMDB Pro page and seeing that there are links to jobs. It really just hit me. It's oh no, this could take me anywhere. Because now I'm in a new network. I literally have elevated into I'm in a different playing field than I was before. I have access to jobs that I did not before. Right now, I have nothing to prove that I'm good at what I do. So I have to work on my resume, which will be Devil's Mountain and then Alien Brain Fog. And I'm thinking if I get those things done, I will have shown that I'm capable of things, and maybe jobs will open. Maybe I won't need to get jobs. Maybe I'll just be able to make passive income, and that's really the hope. If I can somehow, if my concept for Alien Brain Fog works, I can maybe make enough money that I don't need a day job. It's a terrifying statement. Also freeing. Having moments of what feels like pure delusion. What I like to do, I would like to accomplish something similar to what Oprah did. Says everyone, but it's unrealistic for me to expect to have the kind of impact on the world that Oprah had. But I can try. And I think that's the part that I need to focus on. Is yes, unlikely that I will ever have the amount of wealth or prestige or power or whatever that Oprah has. But Oprah didn't do that by trying to become wealthy. Oprah did that by trying to help people, and that's what I would focus on. I was thinking about how Oprah... It's weird, I think I'm doing it again, where I feel like I'm talking like a news reporter. I can't explain that. Oprah became who she is by trying to educate people. That's, I think, above all else, Oprah was an educator, and she got people reading and thinking about spirituality and gave a voice to women. In a way, I think we have not quite understood yet, but I think history will show the impact that Oprah had. I'm certain that there was people of other generations that did similar things, but what she was able to do is get people, Barbara Walters was able to make people cry in queue. That was a common thing. There's always been people that can make an audience or someone feel vulnerable and safe. I think that's the key, is to make someone feel that they're safe in the space and that they're allowed to be vulnerable, and then let them just go. Let them feel seen. But Oprah, she did something different. I mean, part of it must have been the time, but she changed. I know my life would be completely different if I didn't watch Oprah. I don't think I would have read the books that I read if it wasn't for that show. And I think that's the part that I need to focus on, is educating people, getting them to read things that will help them grow. Which means, I actually have to read the books and translate. And I think that's the key thing there. Is a lot of, I think people go on TikTok now thinking that we are AI. They treat the people on the talking heads on there like they're AI. That they just go in there, hey, I have a question, answer this. Like it's bizarre. And they just take the word of anyone that answers as gospel. And that's a problem, I think. I think that is the key problem, is we just assume that everyone knows what they're talking about. I'm trying to think of how to verbalize this, but again, in my spiritual view of the world now, where again I feel like I'm not in control of my body when I say this, I say things and I don't know where they come from. I used to think this was just, I think I've said this on camera before, I thought it was just an extrovert. And maybe that's all it is. I get into a slightly disassociated state, and my unconscious mind has more control over my words, and I have no idea what's coming out. Which is the most scientific explanation, which is why I'm going with that one. My spiritual view of the world is that every living thing is connected. We are all part of the same intelligence. There is something that connects all of us. I forgot what I was going to talk about. I find if I interrupt my flow of talk, sometimes I don't know what comes next. Which again, could be a sign of an extrovert. It could be the signs of a ranting crazy person. I'm grateful that I have at least a level of self-awareness. I'm aware that some of the things I say, many of the things I say, could be taken as mental illness. Which is why, oppressors get away with it. And I think specifically of how we've gaslit women into thinking that we live in a system where women, until within my life, just before my lifetime, I think, just before I was born, I think women couldn't have a bank account. Like a woman. The idea for me is just, it's ludicrous that you can be a living being and not be allowed to accumulate money by yourself. That seems like a form of slavery. It does seem like a form of slavery that is still going on today, because lots of women do lots of free work. And the more I think about it, it feels like a form of slavery, which I guess they call patriarchy. It's a system of gaslighting that has convinced women that they need to do more work than men. And many, many women believe that. And even the ones that don't believe it still feel like they have to. I can't understand that. I think that's no line. I was realizing something yesterday about the cool thing about watching movies and reading books is that it's kind of a form of flash reincarnation. You get to jump into the worldview of someone else and see things through their eyes. get to live another life for a little bit. Live another life and just say, well, now I know what that's like, so I don't have to do that. The part about human beings, why there are more human beings now than ever before, well, it's not because, people will often say reincarnation cannot be possible because there's more human beings alive right now than ever before. So where did all these souls come from? Life is not separate. So if you cut down trees and slaughter animals, the life force will go somewhere. And I can't explain that. That's what it feels like. There's only a certain amount of life on this planet. And we are reaching peak humanity soon. But that doesn't feel right. I think it's something weirder than that. Maybe intelligence is not singular. I mean, that's kind of what the Eastern religions talk about, that intelligence is all in a pool. Shit, I'm thinking too much about it and stopping. I find if I don't think about it, the words come easily, but if I stop and think about it, then they don't. But what I'm thinking is, people don't want to be part of the ocean, because if they're in the ocean, they have no control over what they do. I hate being in the water for that reason. I have absolutely no control over anything. I just sink usually, because the thing is, I don't want to sink into my unconsciousness to let an alien entity talk to me. Even if that was possible, that sounds too close to possession, and I'm not doing that. Just no. So I will continue to believe that all I'm experiencing is a heightened sense of cognition brought on by a slightly disassociated state that is allowing me to access. I've read a lot of books. And this is not even close to all of the books I've read. You can't even see, there's some bookshelves there and over there, and there's some over there too. I've read lots of books. There's information in here that I don't have conscious recollection of. Just because I can't consciously link this moment to something back in my past doesn't mean it's gone. It just means that I can't, the neural pathway, there's no neural pathway between topics, so I can't recall it easily. But maybe by going into a slightly disassociated state, and I mean it is ever so slightly, I can access parts of information in my brain that were not previously available. That is a slightly, and the thing is, I think it's really silly. It could be the same thing. Like if you're talking to someone practicing voodoo or hoodoo. Jesus, I should know these religions. It's not really voodoo, but hoodoo or vugun. The ancient Santeria, any sort of magical religion that has possession. The power will come through you and over you, blah, blah, blah. The spirits will wash over you, blah, blah, blah. What's the difference? So those people would say that you're communicating with your ancestors, and then cognition would be like, well, you're communicating with the parts of your brain that you don't have access to. Now, the difference would be, science could check your brain for if I'm in a slightly dissociated frame of mind, what parts of my brain are activated, and is it possible that those parts of the brain have access to information that my conscious brain does not? That to me sounds more believable than the disembodied spirit of non-human entities are speaking to me. And again, I have no way to test that. I have no way to test if non-human entities are talking to me. I can't test for it. I can test for science, which is why I'm focusing on science. When I'm given access to information that has never been in my brain before, and there's no way, based on known sensory organisms in our body, there's no way that I could know that information. For example, I can't know when Michael is going to call, but I do. I know, I can feel him about to call me. And I can't explain that. I can't explain it with the current levels of science and technology. So I have to say it's psychic, because that's the only word I can use to describe what is happening. Maybe it's because I'm a writer, but I'm used to thinking of gobbledygook and technobabble. If I was writing up technobabble for what I think is happening, when two human beings spend enough time together, there's some sort of sharing of molecular structure or cell structure. Perhaps it is something as simple as the pterogens. Is that what they are? The animal. I know that there's all sorts of animals on our body, other organisms within our body that we are not aware of. And maybe when we sleep with someone and swap body fluids, some of those switch back and forth. So maybe I have some of his and he has some of mine. And we know that ant colonies have the ability to communicate over distances. So maybe there's that. Maybe there's some microscopic organisms that within my body that have now gone onto another person, and they're communicating with each other. I was thinking it was more fungal, the way that fungi communicate. That's something that can be explored. That's something that science could look into. I think that's the difference. Those are things that science could explore. Science cannot explore psychic ability. We don't have the technology to do that. We can't see psychic rays, and we can do tests. We can talk about probability, and again, that's a math. Like you do the flashcard test. That's what they used to do. They flash a card and see if there's. The thing is, it's not how our brains are wired. If we have any abilities, they are tied into survival. Because our bodies are just like, the physical body is designed for survival within the physical world, right? That's what it's here for. This helps us navigate the physical world. So if we have a psychic ability of any sort, it must be to help us navigate the physical world. Because otherwise, why would we have it? It helps us in the physical world. I need to research. I saw a speech with Marion Williamson talking about a study done on gorillas, I believe, where they removed the depressed gorillas from the tribe, thinking that it might actually make them happier. And what happened is they removed the gorillas, the depressed gorillas, came back a while later, and the entire tribe had died. Because depressed people were seen to be the ones, the early warning signs that something was wrong. Because if the depressed people were like, oh my God, woo, then the tribe knew it was time to do something. But what's happened in the world is that depression has been increasing for decades, and the tribe's not listening. we need to look. System not working. We're in trouble. The system is not working and we are in trouble. Which is why we need to start listening when people say things are bad, instead of gaslighting them into pretending that it's not. We know things are bad. We need our leaders to stop pretending that things are not bad. Because we're not stupid, we're not fooled, and lying to us is making us angry. I came on here to talk about IMDB, not rant and rave about other shit. But I realized too that if I had attempted to do what I'm doing now at any earlier point in my life, I would not have been ready for this. I know that there's this thing about, we don't procrastinate, just do it. But I would not have been emotionally ready for what I know is coming next. Like for me I'm going to spend time pouring my heart and soul into a movie, and when people hate it, which people will, when people hate it, that could have an impact on me. At least it could have before, and I think now I don't know if it will. I definitely see more of the business side of movies now than I have before. And I really see the business side, and how incredibly possible it is for me to find work making film of some sort. It's very possible. As long as I'm talented. That's the thing. I do have to put my money where my mouth is, and I did put my money, because I'm using my money, but I have to actually put my time to show that I actually can do this. If I am able to achieve the vision that I want, I will be able to die happy. I mean, to be honest, I can die happy right now. I'd be upset because I really want to get Alien Brain Fog out. I think it's going to be a good movie series. There's going to be a book attached to it, a learning course, and if I play it right, that could be my money. It's not just the videos, but then the books, the learning course, the study manuals. I think there's money there. I think that's a good business model. And then if I can just make just any money off that, then I can go back to working on my fiction and just write books. And that would be pretty fucking amazing. But I don't know, I just wanted to come on and say when I said I was going to make a movie before, I don't think it really hit home. But with each day, it's like, no, I am making a movie. A real one. Oh, I don't think I put this on here. I was talking with, did I talk about Sue Varney? She sent me a link to this guy whose projects are they do 5 or 6 projects a year, between $5 and $30 million budgets. Just that would be a lot of moving parts. I mean, that's I'd be able to hire a special effects team. I don't know if I want that kind of. I don't want that level of responsibility. I'd rather just maybe work in a special effects department doing editing. If I can find a job as an editor, that would be fine, actually. I could edit from home. That would be fantastic. That would be very cool, actually, if I could do that. Or writing scores for movies. I would love to do that. And it might take some time, but let's see where I'm at 10 years from now. But I could end up by this time next year, I could have made the movies, and realized that they're horrible and said, well, at least I tried and they're done. But you know what? I don't really care. I don't care if they're terrible. I'm going to release a horror movie. Devil's Mountain will get made. Brent signed on to it last night. Michael was worried that basically said he didn't want to be in the movie because he doesn't like his picture being taken. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I can put you in a monster costume. You can hold the camera. I said to those guys, like, you two on camera is like the funniest thing ever. Like, if people had seen what these guys are like when they're just hilarious. And I told them, like, well, you're gonna need someone to, like, I said they should do a podcast, because if they just did what they did, hanging out together and acting like a fool, did that, people would watch. They are both very pretty and they are silly, but they are just so silly. And I love seeing Michael like that. He just laughs so hard. Makes me happy.
The lady is the reason my dad started getting investigated by the Vatican, but since 2007, my family's been investigated for our UFO experiences. But when the lady started coming, the Vatican and more government agencies and governments around the world started coming around because they were curious about this lady. But she communicated a couple of really important messages between 2012 Easter and 2013 Easter, when she appeared on those 2 days, those consecutive years. One of the things that she communicated, and I've talked about this at length, I have a playlist on my page if you want to go look into the lady. But specifically here, I want to talk about music and how she said to Dad that music is something that she has used as a tool to communicate messages.
This is a test. This is a test of the human empathy system. If there was a way to transform Windsor and Detroit into one of the greatest tourist destinations on the planet, would you want to know? If you make it to the end of Unbelievable, you will believe one of four things. Some of you will believe I'm a moderately attractive pitbull impersonator who has clearly lost his mind. And that's what I thought in 2002, when for a brief moment, I thought I heard the voice of God. Some of you, mostly Christians, will believe that I have been possessed by a demon. And that's possible. Others of you, also Christian, will believe that I am the second coming of Christ, sent back to usher in a new age of Christianity and help rebuild the church. And that is technically true, but not it's not fucking true at all. So don't believe that. The rest of you will believe what I believe. I am a magician, and this is a magic trick. I am supposed to be helping my country in a propaganda war against Nazis, like Gerald Gardner did before me. Because I can see the future, I can tell you how to rebuild Windsor's economy. With a little bit of help, I can make a whole lot of people a whole lot of money very quickly. For more on that, watch Unbelievable. First off, thanks to Bo Burnham. Inside was the... Shit, where did it go? There it goes. First off, thank you to Bo Burnham. Inside was the kick off. There it is. Inside was the kick I needed to take my art seriously.
Old drone Dior bag situation has taught me reality is nothing like the movies. In the movie,
there's a reason for that. For the last 50 years, Hollywood has been trying to make us afraid of aliens. And it's because they're not aliens. And once enough people realize what they are, and why Hollywood has been trying to make us afraid of it, and why the United States government has been allowing it to happen, people are going to get angry. Something is going to happen this month, January 2025. I've been told to allow it to happen. Don't worry, people. It's good news. World peace is closer than you think. Really close. It's just one more storm.